Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. So, there's obviously about the Queen dying and the new King Charles III. It's interesting because I'm not a royalist. I don't believe in the monarchy. My problem is, as I believe in equality. If I believe in equality, how can I then believe in a monarchy, which is something where they live differently than everyone else? They get a special treatment that other people don't get, and that's not equality. So I don't know, those people who believe in equality, maybe they only believe in equality in certain areas, but that's not equality, is it? Real equality is everyone is equal. And I mean that in every way, as in everyone's life should be equal in the way that they can all exist and be happy and do the things that everyone should be able to do, travel everywhere, and etc. So that means getting rid of passports and money and all that kind of stuff, and a different system where because the problem is our system was born on inequality. It was born on people trying to, well, that's why kings and queens were set up, to grab power, to be able to get other people to do the work for you, and you to have control over these things. And that's why we created things like kings and queens and sheriffs and governments and etc. But I think we're past that now. We're more civilized, and we can see that those ways don't work anymore. We don't need people to govern over us. Maybe we need certain people to do certain functions, etc. But I suppose it's difficult to comprehend because we're all born into this system. We're all trained into this system. You know, our DOS, our Windows, or whatever you want to call it, is the system that we're brought up in school and through our parents and through TV. And so to try and work out how to do it without that, it seems impossible and illogical, but it's not. It's just that we need to sit down and think about how is the best way for us all to live together on this place that we found ourselves upon, so that we can do all the things that we need to do so everyone can have a nice existence and a nice life. But anyway, that's getting off the point. The point I wanted to talk about was, it's interesting how I have been drawn to watching the TV and the spectacle of the Queen's death and the pomp and of King Charles being ascended. It's interesting because I know I've seen some people put about Stockholm syndrome, when where you like your oppressor and etc. And I suppose they've got a little bit of a point to that, because when you try and think about what has the king or the queen or the monarchy done for you personally, for most people it isn't anything. But what interests me is when I see the people who, when King Charles came across to meet people, how much emotion they all had at shaking his hand. They were welling up, and it's a bit like, I suppose, I don't know if it's an innate thing that we have inside us or it's something that we've been taught or learnt to do. It's a bit like a celebrity when, someone goes to see their famous pop star or a football star or whatever, and when they get to meet them, they feel that emotion and that difference and that, X factor, as it were. So it's interesting to see that people who, these people, the monarchy, they represent something. They're part of the system, but their function these days, they're not the same as they were, saying King, what's his name? King with the 6 wives. King Henry? No, it's not King Henry, is it? I've forgotten his name now. The kings of the past and the queens of the past, where they actually did control government and controlled, wars and what was done and this, that and the other. Now they're just, they give all that power away, and they're just there dressing up, as it were, as kings and queens, and they have some function, but most of it is to sign what they've been given to sign, and they have no choice in the matter. They may be able to give their views, I don't really know, but it doesn't seem like they have too much power. So what they actually do for you as individuals, I can't see it as being that great. But yet the passion and the emotion that people have for these people, I guess the thing is, it's also because they're in our lives all the time. Ever since I've been born, you see the Queen on your pound, on your notes, on your coins, on your TV every Christmas, doing the Christmas speech, is all part of the system, the setup, and you get used to that. And then when that person is gone, even yesterday when I did the last of these Pursuit of the Truths, I could feel that, it was a strange feeling that I had for this lady that I didn't really, I didn't dislike or like, but I didn't really have much, what's the word, any real passion towards her, because I believe in equality and I don't believe in monarchy. I believe that's I say, the old ways of things. But yeah, I still did feel, as a human being, that last, maybe it's because she comes across as a grandmother, or that last photo where she looked very frail like a grandmother with a big smile. The first time ever seen like a real smile from her. Although they have been showing stuff of her when she's at the races. But then I was thinking about her life and how it's been a life of service, where she couldn't do go down to Tesco's, or go and do the things that you and me take for granted and think of as freedom. She was sort of a slave within the system, even though it is her system. So maybe we all are. But what also, when I was watching today, the signing of the piece of paper, everyone signs, and all the words that they have to read out and he has to approve and all that kind of stuff, all the make-believe. It's kings and queens are a man-made concept. There's no God maker. You can't make a king or a queen. He's a normal human being. She was a normal human being. I'm a normal human being. You and all, we're all equal. There's no power. There's no difference between a famous celebrity or politician or a king or a queen. They don't have anything extra. That illusion of, wow, this is that great person, and they were so wonderful and all that. That is all a man-made illusion. They're exactly the same. They have a heart, and they have lungs and passions and emotion and a brain. All the things that you and I have. There's no different, except they've been born into that. If you were born into that, you would do exactly the same. And you'd have to do the same. If you, I often think, if I was the king, would I just tear it all up and say, I'm not going to do it anymore, I'm going to, get rid of the monarchy, and, they wouldn't let you do it. You wouldn't be able to do it. They'd abdicate you, or they'd knock you off. Or you'd be saying, you're that crazy king. What was the crazy king's name? Anyway, so, yeah, just it made me think about all the people, all the suits everyone's wearing, all the, the game of life, and then I was thinking about our lives. Aren't they more serious than this, for us to be playing game of life with our life? I.e., we dress up, we become this, he becomes a king because we all sign a piece of paper and say, yeah, now you're king. In the coronation, he's going to put his crown on, and then, wow, he's the king. We've now made a king. And, this person is a doctor because he's got a white coat on and all that. He's an astronaut because he's got his suit on. All this, some of it is functionality, yeah, I get that, but a lot of it is illusion, that, that's how we're treating our one existence, our lives, playing these games of hierarchy and power and illusionary things, rather than all the hours that are going to be wasted signing a piece of paper, all the hours that are going to be wasted proclamations, and all this up and down and hoo-ha and etc. When do we have time to waste? So that that all this can go on, so he can sit in one of his palaces and sign bits of paper, open boxes, and read what these politicians are doing for him, and just sign it. But this is just one part. It's not the only one. There's lots of our life, when you look at it, that is man-made and illusionary and not really necessary. Like there are hundreds of factories that are mass-producing the same things because they can compete against each other, and who makes the money, and so we can all live, and etc. And our lives are all part of that rat race. But yeah, just watching this, it just made me, I am enthralled by it, and this is the system that we live in, that we all vote for, that we all stand by. But it's interesting to see that the flag wagging and how many people, if you said this on television, if one of the journalists suddenly turned around and said what I'm saying, everyone would be booing. Everyone was saying he's a disgrace, he's an anarchist or whatever, and he shouldn't be saying all these things. It's in poor taste. And yet, wait a minute, what if he's actually telling the truth? Well, that doesn't matter, because in our system, truth doesn't matter. What matters is we stick to the script. Like Prince Charles when he's reading his script of ascending. It's just I don't know. It's just that there's too much of our existence that is wasted, and this is just another example of it, I guess. And I don't know when everyone's going to wake up from the Stockholm syndrome that we've all been put in, or of our life and of the system that we live in. That is, for you may be okay. You may have a nice house. You may have a nice life. You may have a nice car. You may have nice food. You may have nice entertainment, all that. But there's lots of people that don't have all those things. I mean, that's millions of people, not just one or two. You can't just shy it away like that. There's millions of people that live in places where we've left it like that. We've allowed it to stay like that through economic ways, through democratic ways, lots of ways of keeping the power of how we made the pound and how we made money and how we decided which country would have this much and what their value would be and all that kind of stuff. And the way we treat each other and the way we manufacture things and all that kind of stuff. The way we live and see each other. When will we wake up from that and see that, well, we all need to live equally. We all need to be like kings and queens, every single one of us. We all need to live like that, not just a few. Anyway, that's my view. Take care, take it easy. God bless, in peace.